Greetings, Crocoblockers. Jakson here. Welcome to the Crocoblock channel, as it happens. Super stoked and honoured to be here to have the opportunity to present to you a bit of a workshop. Chunky-ish. Stay tuned. It's all about when you have an idea or, a requirement to implement something in WordPress. And rather than sort of go out and try and find, a dedicated plugin, we're going to use a bunch of Crocoblock plugins to essentially build out a cheeky little full-on data-driven mini web app for WordPress. Okay, so what's the idea? We're going to build like a private forum, like a basic chat room where users can post and reply to topics and that kind of thing. And as I said, we're going to do that with just a few Croco plugins. Okay, so we're going to learn quite a lot about creating forms, for user registration, posting topics, forms to update your user preferences and profile, that kind of thing. We're going to be creating custom post types for the forums and the topics. We'll have listing grids for displaying those forums and topics. And we're going to learn how to put all that together to create a finished app. Oh yes, we are. Okay, Crocoblock plugins we're going to be using. JetEngine, of course. JetForm Builder for all the form stuff. The user login action for JetForm Builder. JetSmartFilters for some extra action on the listing grids. And a couple of other plugins for a couple of other bits. I've set up a kind of blank wireframe site with Elementor Pro and the Hello theme. And got the header and footer and that kind of stuff in there. So, shall we crack on? All right, let's get JetForm building. Let's go over to our admin and get onto JetForm Builder. We're going to add new form, and this is going to be for register. Okay, let's open up the nav. We're going to stick our cursor and do a select all while we're there to delete all of that sort of stuff. And open up the block inserter, and here we have all the JetForm fields that we can choose from. For this registration, we're going to need 4 text fields. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that submit button. So we'll put that back. It's under the elements section. It's an action button that defaults, as you can see, as submit form. So all good. We'll go back to the navigator and we'll start labeling these things up. First one was going to be for user name, and we want to make that required. That's that symbol up there. Second one's going to be for email address, and we'll make that required as well. And for text blocks, for text field blocks, we can choose the type, and this is good for validation and other presentation aspects to the type of text field it is. Next one's going to be password, and we'll make that required. And this field type will be a password, believe it or not. And this last one will be confirm password required, and also a password field. Okay, cool. We'll publish that, save that up. Now the thing is, at this point, that's our form done. We're good to go. But remember, we want it to do something. We want it to register a new user. So we go to the main JetForm tab, and you see that there's already a post submit action. So we want a different type of action. We're just going to delete that just so we're starting from scratch. The send email is added when you create any new form. And so if we click create new action and choose register user, perfect. Open up the edit box and you see it's all pretty straightforward. We have the form fields on the left here, and we can just map them to the WordPress user fields. Simple as that. Confirm password. So other fields here, we can get to those when we look at the My Account page a bit later on in this tutorial series. Now, the user role, it does default to subscriber, but let's just set it anyway. And the user meta is, again, something we can come back to when we're doing the My Account functionality a little bit later. So we'll update that and update that just to keep our saving going. The other thing we want to do is actually log the user in once they've registered. And this is only temporarily. We're actually going to build in some extra special functionality whereby the user is verified by their email address, and that will be a little bit later on. So let's just log the user in for now, and we'll update that. And we'll also add another action after the form is submitted, and this one will be a redirect to a page. Click the edit button and we'll redirect to a static page, and that static page, it will be the home page, which eventually will be our list of forums that we can click through and see the topics on But that all looks good. We're just going to just have a quick look at the general messaging settings here. Now, I'm going to change that to thanks for registering, just so there's a bit more of contextual feedback. And I do believe that is all we need for now. So let's open up our pages in another tab, and let's go and have a look at our register page we've already got set up for with Elementor, and we'll throw in a heading which will be register, and we'll go grab the JetForm widget and throw that in as well. Choose which form we want, and also always select Ajax, or mostly always select Ajax. This is so that the validation and the user feedback doesn't require a page refresh, which is, of course, is a much better user experience. So let's update that. Let's go have a look at the front end. Have we got a registration form? We do indeed. Right, so let's see if we can get someone registered. Let's register Sam. Sam's email. Test.com, so we're not actually sending any emails. We are monitoring them with the email logging plugin. Well, we'll put in a very simple password to begin with, but I will show you a little bit later how to ensure we're asking our users for special characters, uppercase, lowercase, that kind of thing, just so we can enforce strong passwords as best practice. Now, let's submit that. Don't save. But we do get thanks for registering, and we are indeed redirected to the home page. Here we are on the home page, and we can see that we're logged in because we can see that we do have the very ugly WP admin top bar displayed, which of course we do not want at all. But it does prove that we are logged in. Right, okay, so let's get rid of the admin bar. This takes us just a little bit of code, which we'd normally put into our child theme or custom plugin, but we're just going to add the code snippet plugin for this demo just to speed things along, and we'll go grab that now. Code snippets, and install, and activate that. And in actual fact, there's a couple of reasons why we are going to use snippets for this one. It's because remarkably, it comes with an example code for disabling the admin bar, which is kind of handy. But if you do want to go and add that to your child theme or custom plugin, that's your code there. Well, just go back there. We're going to just quickly clean. We're going to use a couple more snippets later on. So I think we'll just tidy up that and put those unused one in the bin. Cool. Okay, next up, we are going to, now that we are technically, let's just see if that's working. So let's give that a refresh. Looks like it is. Great stuff. So we know we're logged in. We've just refreshed the page, but we can't actually log out at this moment in time. So this is where we're going to grab another snippet. So we're going to create a new snippet, and it's going to be called it's going to be for a log out link. And I'm just going to go grab a little bit of code which I pre-prepared. Just grab that code and drop it in, and you can see what it is. It is a short code, and the short code is creating a link, echoing out a link that basically has the PHP in it to create a formatted logout link with a redirect, and it's going to log you out and go to the login page. Okay, so let's save that up and activate it. And let's go grab the shortcode, that logout shortcode. Now, if we go to our templates, let's open that in another tab. And if we show our template and go find our footer, just for quickness, we'll go grab the shortcode widget, slam that in our empty footer, currently empty footer, put in our square brackets, open, close, put in our logout link, and hopefully we've got our logout link. I'm just going to maybe on this container here is just have it aligned to the right, just so it's tucked out the way on our pages. All right, let's refresh and look. Indeed, we do have our logout page. So now we're not logged. Now we're logged out, and so we go to the login page, but we don't have a login form anymore. So so let's go create our login form. Let's get back to our admin. Go back to our forms. Going to add a new form here, and this is for login. And again, let's just so we know that we're selecting everything and delete all that. And for this, on the block inserter, we're going to need two text fields, username and password. We're also going to need a checkbox field, and that's for a remember me checkbox, you know, like so that your browser can remember you when you come back. We're also going to add the action button, which will be the submit form default. Plus, we're going to add a paragraph at the very bottom. And this is going to be for, just going to open that up again. Keep things tidy. This is going to be for forgotten your password, which will actually be a link going to our password reset. And we'll obviously be making that form in just a little bit. So let's publish that to save it up nicely. Okay, so cool. Now let's get the labels in. So that'll be user name. And let's make it required, and it will be password. And let's make that required. We're going to leave the label off the checkbox, but we are going to manage these inputs here, and it'll be called remember me, and we'll have that on there. Update that. So we've got the remember me now, which is great. Quick update, and yeah, cool. So everything feeling good right now. Let's have a look at the actual main JetForm tab. Okay, so we've got the default send email. Now we're going to delete that just so we don't confuse ourselves, because it isn't required for the form. And we're going to add a new action, and that is for user login. This is the JetForm Builder Pro add-on. Quickly click on that edit, and there's not much going on here. It's really dead simple. Map the fields again from the fields we've created. Oh, and it looks like we haven't actually named that one even. We haven't actually named the remember me field correctly. So let us get back onto that and go to the block, because you see we've got field name there. It should be remember me. Cool. So let's just go and quickly update that. So those are all connected up nicely. Update. Now we'll add another login. This will be another redirect. And on this redirect, we'll make it go to our static page, and it will be our My Account page. Cool. We'll update that. And we will change this to successfully logged in. Bit more context, bit more useful. Right, so let's get back to let's close up some of these tabs, keep it tidy. Let's get our pages open again. And let us go to our login page. And let's get our heading in. And we'll go grab our form. And this time we're going to choose, we'll choose our login. There it is, great stuff. Open that. Oh, don't forget to make that an Ajax form. Much better user experience in this context. And that's all updated. Right, let's get back to the front end. Let's give our login form a refresh. Just as a side note, I will be showing you how to hide different menu items and also things like the logout button, because clearly if you're not logged in, then you don't really need a logout button, right? So let's see Steve. Come on, mate. Sorry, Sam. So let's see if Sam can log in. We forgot one thing. On our login form, we just need to make the block that is it's currently a text field. We need to make that a password field. Okay, let's refresh that. Sam, right. Successfully logged in. Great, we're logged in. And just so we absolutely know we are, we'll just go to wp-admin, and we see that we do indeed have a login by Sam. Now, another addition when we go through a kind of final tidy up of all the bits and pieces that really make this come together, we'll be adding a snippet that will redirect non-admins away from WP admins so that it doesn't get too confusing for our poor users. All right, let's get back to it. Now we've got our login form. We are logged in. If we log out and we go to our I've forgotten my password, we see that we don't have that on here. So let's get back to business and let's go create that form with JetForm Builder. So we'll go add new form and we'll just do our usual select all and delete, and this will be reset password. And for these fields, there are actually specialist JetForm builder blocks that we'll be using. And if we scroll down here, you see you've got reset password fields. We'll have some of that. And we've got reset password button. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the nav. Oh, let's get rid of that para. Okay, so there's something let's just save that up. Now, there's something we need to understand about this reset password fields. It's plural. I can only see one field. Well, there's two states for this form. One is when you're adding your email to then get an email to a link to reset your password, and that email contains a link to this same page or to this same form with the reset fields. And if we have a look on the block here, you'll see that there's this edit state section which has default, and if we click reset, boom, there we get our new password and confirm new password input boxes, which is super cool. Now, just before we dive in a little bit further, I just want to delete once more this send email action, because I want to start from scratch and for us not to get confused, because and you'll see why in a sec. So let's delete that for a second. Right, we're going to go back to our block, and you see we have this edit reset password action. So this is where the magic happens. By clicking that, you see that it's put in a post submit action for reset password automatically, and that's all cool, that's all fine, all that's set for you. The thing we have to remember to do is to add a custom reset password email, and this will allow us to customize it rather than use the standard password reset email that WordPress sends. So let's sort this out, and here we go, edit custom email. And you see that it's actually created this for us, this send email. The mail to is set to the user's email. The from field will leave blank. The reply to, well, we'll just make it admin@test.com. This would be your site main address, and we'll just have it come from me. And we'll use that again. And let's have HTML. And you can then edit to your heart's content, but all that looks fine for the time being for this demo. So let's just update that. Now, okay, so this is where we really need to start our focusing. Let's just update that to save our changes. Now, you'll see over here on the right, see the send email that was created. You'll see that there's a condition here. Now, on default.state. Now, what this means is if we open up this, which is the condition by which this action will be fired. And let's have a look at what it says. Okay, so the field comparison is basically where you can add multiple conditions. And it's the event that we're looking to match. So on default state. Now, in layman's term, what this means is fire this action when it's in default state. And the default state is the first view, i.e. enter your email address, press submit, you get an email with the reset link on it. So that's correct. But if you look, this doesn't have a condition on it. So let's have a look at that. Now on this one, this is the hyper important part. We only want this to fire on reset password, so that's when it's on that state, and we also have to add on default state as well, because it's a version of the default state. We update that. Let's just go down and do our change of text, success text, and we'll change that to check your email for reset link. Right, update that. Let's go open our pages up again, and let us go to our password reset and start doing our business over there. Grab our heading, reset password, and we'll go get our latest JetForm, which is our reset password. Let's keep that Ajax. And so that should all be good. Right, let's go back over to the front end. If we go back to our login and go, forgotten your password link, follow that through. Sam, let's get your password. Okay, check my email. Now, as I mentioned, we don't have email running on this server, but we do have WP mail login. So if we open that up in a new tab, we do indeed have the email logs for what has been sent when. So let's have a look. We'll check that out. We now have our reset password link. So let's copy that link. Let's get back over to our front end and put our reset in. And here we go. Look, we can see now that the same password reset page does indeed have the different state. So if let's get a new password in. Now we'll come back and sort a few redirects out on this in just a sec, but let's just see if that reset has worked. So let's go back to login and try Sam, and I've changed the password to successfully logged in. Perfect. So that is all working just fine. Right, now just while that was running there, I thought that we need some other actions. And for this, I would say that we need two different redirects. So one would be a redirect that we need a new page for. So let's open up pages and create a new page for check your email. And it'll be like a instructional page. Throw in a header, check your email for reset link. And let's just center that and put some padding in, and we'll publish that. Cool. And the other redirect would be for when they have changed the passwords, it just takes them to the login. So let's get the first one in, which is after they've selected after they requested the link, which is check your email. And we need to add the same condition on that, which would be that on default state. Cool. Update that. And the next one would be for the redirect when we're going to take them to the login after they've reset their password correctly. Update that, and let's add the same conditions again. So it's on password, on reset password, and on default state. Update that, and let's put that above that one, and that I think should do it. Oh, there was one other thing we can do to kind of get the UX feeling a little bit better, which is on the reset password, we can actually change the success message. Okay, let's see how that has worked out. We'll update that. Cool. Right, let's get back over to the front end. Forgotten your password? Yes, I have. Reset that password. Here we go. So we're going to get Sam in there again. Check your email for the email. Great. That goes to the instructional page. Let's go to our email log and refresh that, see what we've got here. Okay, there's our new password reset, so let's copy that link. New password, reset password, password change successfully. Great, straight to the login page. That's perfect. Right, so we have got everything working as expected. We can register, we can log in, and we can change our password. Okay. Next up, we are going to get onto our custom post types and fields for forums and topics. Right, let's get back to this forum build. Next up, we're going to do some post types. So on JetEngine, we've got this great feature called post types. Now we're going to need two post types for forums and for the topics of those forums. So let's create a new post type. I'm going to create these in reverse order. So we'll start off with topics, and we go to advanced settings, and we can change a few things here. We want to remove the archive because we're going to control those separately, and we don't want folks to actually view them in a default way. We also want to change the old icon. So let's look up a topic-y type dash icon. We're also going to add some support options. We'll add comments. We'll add revisions, although we won't have that on the front end. And we will, of course, need the author, our users. And I think that's probably it for the time being. We're not actually going to need tons of meta field, but we need to have a way of linking the topic to the forum. Now we're going to need a meta field, which is for the parent forum, but we'll come back to that in just a sec. So let's add this post type. And there we go. We've got our topics here. In fact, let's just move that to advanced settings. We can say where we want it to sit. Well, let's have it on the first separator, and we'll update that. Refresh our page, and where we go, we've got our topics at the top there. So let's go back to post types, and we'll create a new one. This is for forums. And we'll hit those advanced settings again and remove that archive, just so that everything's nice and tidy. And we'll add another forum-y type, chit-chatty style icon there. And we'll add we don't need comments, we do need revisions, potentially. We do need an author. And you may want to add a thumbnail to your own listing item. More about that later on, and possibly an excerpt, but that'll do for now. We can add other stuff if we so need it. Oh, and we were going to change the position of that to go first separator. Now the reason I did this in reverse order is that if we just go back to our dashboard here, it just so that forums appear above topics. It's a little bit, yeah, it's a bit anal, but there you go. So we've got our forums, so let's go create a new forum. Let's add a new forum. We'll call this general discussion, and we'll publish that. And we'll create another one called advanced topics, and we'll publish that. And we'll go back to our JetEngine post types. And now that we've got our forums created, we can actually go and add that meta field that will relate our parent forum to our topic. This will become a little bit clearer once we get into the way that these are being presented. Now, this only actually needs to be a number field because it's basically going to be just storing the ID of the forum it's attached to. But for now, we can attach topics to forums. We're going to make that a post selector, and the post type will be our forums. Let's update that post type. So now when we go to topics, add new, we can say just grab some lorem ipsum and dump it in there. Use that for the title. Obviously this will all be done in the front end, so this is just to give us some data to work with. And you see we now have this parent form option here. And so if we say this is in general discussions, then that is now effectively linked to that parent forum. Okay, we'll publish that. I'm going to quickly make a few more topics and speed things up. So we've got those credited now. If we go and look at our topics, we can see that we have indeed got a list of our topics. I'll show you later on how to add a column in here using JetEngine and a little bit of jiggery pokery to actually put a column in to show what forum it's attached to. So now we've got our forums and our topics. We can now go ahead and create the JetEngine listing items that allow us to display these on the various pages. So let's kick off with the listings for our forums and our topics in due course. We're going to add a new listing. The source is going to be from posts, and the post type will be forums. So let's name that. We're going to use Elementor for the creation of the list. Let's create that listing. Super cool. Right, let's get a container in there, and our heading, which will be the title, which we can actually use the dynamic content to actually give us the title. And then we'll add a widget, and this one will be a JetEngine widget for a dynamic link. We'll put that in there too. The source will be the permalink. The label will be read more. That's cool for now. On the container itself, let's do a little bit of formatting of its style. We're going to have space between, so is left and right. Let's get everything centered in the middle as well. We'll give that a little styling. We'll make that typography a little bolder, and we'll get it down to there. Now, what I think we're going to throw in another container. to put everything in so we have a little bit more control and view of what's going on. Actually, no, fuck that. Okay, cool. Now, just for argument's sake, let us get the width about, say, 700, so we're not dealing with this edge-to-edge nonsense for the time being. And on this container, let's get some padding in there of 20 for the time being. We'll also need to throw some border on there, but just the box shadow, and just so it pops a little bit on the page. Take that transparency down significantly, and we'll throw some border radius on there, and we just preview that. That looks pretty cool. Okay, so that's going to link to our forum, and that is going to link to our forum too if we throw in a little dynamic URL on there. That's super cool. Okay, so technically we do have our listing. So I tell you what, let's just start tidying up things up a little bit here. We're going to go back to our listing items. Let's get to our home page, and let's get this straight in there. Open that in a new tab. So home page, we're going to edit that with Elementor. So we don't really need a forums archive, so to speak. We're just going to use it displayed on the home page. So we're going to throw in a container there, and then we're going to have a little scan down to our JetEngine stuff going on here, and we'll see we've got our listing grid. We're going to stick that in there. Choose our one and only current listing, which is forums, and you can see that we do indeed have both ours listed there. So we'll change that to one column, and essentially we're good to go. Let's update that. Take a little peek at our home page now, and Shazam, we do indeed have our forums listings. Right, let's get back to our listing items and let's create a new one. In fact, let's just open that in a new tab, because what I want to do is just copy that container, and then when we go to add new here, it's going to be topics this time, and same routine, but just to give us a little head start, we'll just do a quick right click, paste there, and let's just put our preview to something similar. Now we're going to need, for the topics, there's going to be a ton more information, so we're going to need two columns. So we're going to grab another container and stick it in there, and then we're going to put all our stuff inside that container. Slippery little suckers, that's better. And in that container we can duplicate that, and then we have two halves. Get rid of the header in one and the dynamic link in the other. So we've got two halves to play with now. This container, we want the content to push right. That one can stay as default. So this all looks cool. So permalink is correct. Post title with the post URL is correct. So what else do we want in here? I suppose we want some of the post meta, or in this case, the topic meta. So if we look for some more very useful listing elements, we can see we've got dynamic meta here. So let's throw that in under there. And you see here that we can choose what to show. We can lose the comment count for a sec, and we can add what we want. So we can say that that is posted by Jakson. So let's just start adding some extra pieces to this. So prefix would be posted by Jakson on. So that's all cool. And then we could have some more dynamic meta over the other side, which would just literally have the comment count on it. So we could say that could go up there. In the same way, we would have total comments. Right, let's sort out some spacing. We're going to make that the gap 5. Same on here. 5. A little bit more compact. Right, update that. So now we have got our listing for our topic, and that I believe will do for now. Right, let's get back to the dashboard. We're going to use Elementor Finder for that. Also going to close down some of these so we are keeping our workspace tidy. Right, so next up we are going to create some Elementor templates to show off our lists of topics. So let's go to templates, and we're going to add new, and it's going to be a single page for forums. single. This is essentially the topic archive, but we're approaching it in a slightly more dynamic way. Let's create that template, and we'll throw in our container, and we'll put in our post title, and we will change our preview settings so that we can actually pretend this is for a forum. Right, next we want to add our topics listing. So like I said, we're not making strictly archive pages here, but we are utilizing the power of JetEngine and dynamic content to effectively do the same thing. Let's look for our topic listing. We'll give it the old one column, and the real key to how this all sews together is and we'll come back to load more in a little bit. So the key is we've got to tell the listing grid which post to show based on which forum we're looking at, and we can do that in a couple of ways. Now the old way would be to use post query here. We select a query type there. It's actually not the preferred way anymore because we have something much more powerful in JetEngine, and that is the custom query builder. So I've got the post types open here in this tab. I'm going to go and look at topics. And if you remember, we do in fact have a meta field that sets the parent forum, and that's an ID. So let's just copy that for a second, and we'll dive into a little bit of query building with the very powerful query builder right inside JetEngine. We'll get that open and add a new one, and we'll give this the name of forum single. It's going to be a post query. We'll leave the cache on for now, and the post type that we're going to be querying is the topics. And the topics that we need to show should obviously have a status of publish. We don't need to worry about anything else on this general tab. We can just leave that as default. But what we're querying, if you recall, is the post type parent forum. So when you're on a forum page, the query is essentially saying to the listing grid, please only show the topics that have their parent forum ID set as the forum that you're actually looking at. So let's go grab that meta field name, and we'll go to the second tab here, which is the meta query. We'll add a new one, and the key we're looking for is our parent forum, and our comparison is equal to, and we can use dynamic data here to say, look at the current posts. Because remember, when you're looking at a single forum page, that forum page ID is what's been set in all the topics using that parent forum meta field. Okay, that's all we need for this. So let's add that query. And if we head back to our single forum, we can now click to use the custom query and select that query from the drop down. If you don't see it, give your page a refresh. And there's our forum single query. And Shazam, you see now it's saying to the page, okay, well, I'm advanced topics, therefore show only advanced topics on this forum list. Simple as that. Okay, let's save that up and head on over to the front end. We look at advanced topics now. There's our two, and we go back to our general discussion, and we'll see we have different topics. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, next up we are going to need another template, this time for our topic single. Let's get back over to our admin. We'll jump into quick find for templates, navigate over there, show all. We'll see what we've got already. Right, we're going to need a new single page for our topic single. Create that up and throw in our container and our post title. Just some random post being shown there. Let's change the preview to topics so that it makes a bit more sense. There's one of our topics. Right, next up we're going to need our post info again. We can get rid of time, that's not really necessary. So that's cool, and throw in our post content, the question we're going to be answering in the forums, and of course, the super important part, the comments, the people's responses to the question being asked. Okay, let's publish that. We'll add the condition to all topics. Where are you, topics? There you are. Save and close that up. Now let's get back to our front end, and if we jump over to one of these topics, we'll see that we now have our topic single template firing in. Now you will notice that the comment section, although completely useful and very standard style WordPress comment section, being driven by the hello theme here, is okay, and we could just continue with that, but I'm going to throw in a plugin that we're going to supercharge our comments and make them a little bit more useful. We're going to go add a new plugin, and it is the WP Discuss, which is a pretty robust commenting system, and it has some extra features that are really useful, and that will become apparent once we set this up. Right, once that's activated, we'll see a discuss item here. Now, we don't have to do too much to this, but we do have to go to tell it to be used on our topic, so we won't worry about any of this stuff. But you will see here that we have to tick that it's allowed to be used on the post type topics. And also, we're going to disable the post rating. That's when you get like 5 stars for your post, not really relative in this scenario. Okay, let's update that. And back to our topic single on the front end. Refresh. And there we go. Look at that. Automatically it's feeling a little nicer. So how about we log in and see if we can get posting. Let's get back to our topic, and we can just get posting our comments. Awesome stuff. Right, the last template we're going to need is for the author archive, and if we click through to an author, we get the standard Hello theme version of it. So let's get that sorted out. Let's go to our templates, and we're going to add a new one, and it's going to be an archive, and it's going to be author archive. Create that, and we'll get rid of that, and we'll throw in our archive title, and we'll grab our listing grid, throw that in. Give it the old one, choose our topics, and then we can just put a post query on this for posts and authors and get posts by the queried user. So that basically says to WordPress, whatever archive is being queried, in this case the author, show only that author. Let's publish that. We'll add the condition for the archive, and it will be author archive, all of them. Save and close that up and give that a little refresh, and there is our author archive. Super cool. And next up, we are going to create the functionality to be able to add a new topic right here on the front end with another Jet form builder form and a little bit of Elementor pop-up action. Okay, let's get to it. Right, let's get back to our dashboard and let's get over to Jet form and add a new form. This one is going to be for new topic. Normally we delete all this stuff here and start from afresh, but in actual fact we actually need only one more field for this. So I'm going to stick a field in after, and it's going to be a WYSIWYG field courtesy of Jet form builder, and that will be topic description. This text, they're going to make that required, and this one will make that topic title, and that needs to be required as well. And the submit, yeah, that's cool because it's defaults to submit form. Right, the reason we need this is because we're going to pass the post ID of the forum to the newly created topic, thus linking it to the forum, and so it's displayed in the right place. So on our Jet form tab, we're just going to delete the email action that has been added automatically, create a new action for insert update post, and if we edit that, we get a familiar mapping interface, and we can also choose the post type, which is going to be a topic. It's going to be published. And let's map those fields. So the post ID is actually going to be passed. Remember, that's a field that's on the form to our post meta. Remember, our post meta is parent forum. And that way it's linked at the moment it's added, given that where we're adding it is actually on the forum itself. Okay, let's map the title to the title and the description to the post content, and that is good to go. We'll have one more action in there, which is a redirect to page. And for this, we'll go to the inserted updated post. So that way the UX for the user is pretty intuitive as they all see their newly created post displayed as the single topic. Let's update that. Let's just change our success message to something a bit more contextual. Let's publish that, and that should be good to go. Next, we're going to go to our templates, open that in a new tab, add a new pop-up, and it's going to be called new topic. And super simple pop-up here. Don't need any of that. Slam a container in there. Let's go get our Jet Form Builder widget back in action. Put that in there. Let's choose our new topic and a super important Ajax on here because we do not want this page refreshing. Let's put a little heading in there. New topic. And back onto the container, and let's bang in a bit of padding. We'll publish that. We don't need to set any conditions because we're going to trigger it on a button. So let's go back to our templates again in a new tab. Keep those open in case we need any editing done. Let's show all. Now remember, we're looking for the forum single. So let's open that in a new tab to edit it. And what we need is a button up here somewhere. So let's first up get this in a container so we can move stuff around. And we'll drop him into the container. And then we'll add a button into that container. And let's just have the container horizontal and space between. And there on our button, we can have new topic. And the link will be a dynamic tag, and it will be, of course, our pop-up, which we've just created. Go find that little fella, update him, back to our front end. Let's see if we've got our button. And let's see if we can indeed create a new topic. There's our pop-up. I have got something to say. Submit. New topic created. Bingo! We have got our new topic, and we can see it was created by Sam. No comments as yet. As before, we can go look at Sam's author archive and all that good stuff. So there we have completed our add new topic functionality. Let's just, while we're in the mood, let us close down some of this and let's get these forums on the menu for easier access. And we can just go add bingo, bingo. On they go. General discussion and advanced topics. So that we can refresh that and have a look to see we have got our general discussion. Add a new topic to general discussion. And there we go. We've got everything working beautifully. Go to our general discussion. There's our new topic and advanced topics. The one from before. Superb stuff. Right, next up, we are going to get the My Account page all spruced up with the ability to edit your account details and also have a user avatar. Let's go. Okay, first things first, on our My Account page, I thought it'd be quite nice to have a user avatar, which we can then use in other places. And of course, if you are familiar with WordPress at all, you know that the user avatar, let's have a look at somewhere it's displayed. So for example, here, that is driven by the Gravatar service. And as we know all too well, it's a bit of a laborious task to ask users to create a Gravatar and all that jazz. So let's use JetEngine to create some user meta for our avatar and a little bit of a code snippet to use that wherever we want the gravatar displayed. So let's get back to JetEngine, and we want to create a meta box for the users, and we'll just put it as visible on both. We'll then add a new meta field called avatar, and it will be a field, and its type will be media, and its value format will be the media ID. Doesn't need to be required, and all that sort of stuff, and that is done. So now, if we go to users, we will see that in Sam, for example, there's the profile picture, which is linked to Gravatar. We've got a new option. Now, of course, we will be creating functionality on the front end on the My Account edit page to be able to upload the image there. But for now, let's just go and upload an image for Sam, just so we can get it working and see it in place. Okay, let's update that user. Right, let's get our pages up and go to the My Account, throw in a container, and we'll get in our dynamic image, and we'll have the source as the avatar. Update that, go to My Account, and let's have a look to see that we do indeed have Sam. So let's just make that image size the thumbnail. We'll style him up a little bit, put some percentage of 100% on there, update that, refresh there. So where we've got Sam. Let's also put a width of 60 on there. Maybe cool to add a heading in there, which is for our user. It'll be our display name, and in this container, let's actually swap those round. Let's get our container working as a horizontal, and let's get our space between going again. Update that. It looks a bit weird at the minute, but on the front end, when we give that a refresh, we'll see that we do indeed have our, oh, we don't want space between. What are we doing? We want everything going that way. There we go. And we'll also just align the items in the center as well. Okay. There you go, Sam. Good stuff. Right, next up, we're going to need to swap out the Gravatar logic for this little snippet of code that will allow us to replace that with our new user avatar image. So let's go to snippets, and we'll add a new one, and it will be a user avatar. And I've got this snippet here, and big shout going out to however you pronounce that. Let's just copy this. This works for ACF as well, by the way. Copy this and bang that into our, and we'll see that we just need to change our field here to avatar, and that's same there. And let's save that, check there's no errors. Shouldn't be, and we'll activate it. Now when we go back to the front end and say we go to general discussion and we look at a topic, look at that, as if by magic our user meta avatar is being displayed, and of course we can put that in all sorts of other places. Right, next up on My Account page, we're going to need the ability to change our account details, you know, like our first name, last name, and indeed the avatar as well. So let's get to our Jet forms and let's add a new form, and this will be called user edit. Well, actually, we'll call it My Account. Keep it. So let's get these fields in. Right, we don't need post ID, but we do need something else. For this hidden field, I'm going to choose a different value, and it's going to be the current user ID. Let's just delete the rest of it so we can do this in order. So as well as we need to change the name of that as well to just so there's no confusion. Okay, next up we're going to need our avatar field, and that's a media field. We're going to need fields to be able to change the first name, last name, email, password, and confirm password, and we'll stick in our action button for the submit. So the first one is our avatar. We'll actually have change avatar. Next one will be our first name, last name, email, password, or even word, and confirm. Cool. Okay. The media field needs a little attention, and we will need to set the user access to any registered user. Insert the attachment. The field value is the attachment ID. There's some other settings there we won't worry about for the time being. First name is fine. It's text field, same as that. Email we've changed to email type. Password type. And confirm the same. Right, so let's publish that to save it. Okay, so that's our form complete. But when we arrive at the My Account page, what we really want is for all this stuff to be filled in with the existing data from the user, right? So thankfully, JetForm has the most perfect way to accomplish that. Let's just delete that send email default so we're not confused. And you'll see we've got this option of preset settings, which is absolutely genius. You click that enabled and you say, where do you want the data to come from? Well, obviously it's the user. And which user? Well, the current user would have been rather nice. And so we'll go and fill in all these different preset options. That is actually user meta, if you recall. It's our avatar field, first name, last name, and of course our email. And the passwords we don't need to refill that because we'll be typing in those if we actually want to change them ever, and that should do it nicely. Let's just change our success message. Let's just update that, keep it all nice and safe. Now the action we want here is to update the user this time, so we'll just click on our edit and we'll see that we will do, as per usual, our field mapping. So that's again is our avatar meta field and all the rest as normal. Password we do need to add. Role we don't need to change, and the rest can stay the same. Update that. And also, just so we can see the changes take place on the screen, we'll have a redirect after the form is submitted, but not to another page, but to itself, so that you can see those changes have definitely taken place. We'll update that. Right, we'll fly over to our My Account page. Let's go find our Jet form once again. Let's put it in its own container. Choose our My Account, and we'll definitely choose Ajax for that. Let's get that actually in its own container, and then we can give it a little, give that container a little padding and some border radius and a little box shadow just to give it a little presence on the page. Let's go and see what that looks like on the front end now. We'll refresh that. Cool. That all looks good. So you see that our email has been brought in and our avatar has been brought in. So let's delete the avatar, submit. Successfully updated, and our avatar is no longer there. So let's go reset that to our Sam JPEG and submit again, and bingo, and first name is Sammy. Submit that, and as it refreshes you will see that Sammy is in as our first name. Beautiful. Right, let's go back and add some more stuff to our page here. We're going to add a new container and we're going to list Sam's topics here. Let's get a header in there for my topics. And then let's get our JetEngine listing grid right below it. And we'll choose our topics listing once more. And this time we need to make that 1. And it's the same deal. Let's go create a custom query for our topics list. So it just shows only topics for the account, the user that's logged in. If I open up this tab and go to JetEngine, our query builder again, and we'll get a new one going and we'll call it user topics. Same deal, it's a post query. The post type again is topics. Status published. But rather than a meta query this time, we're looking at the account page. We only want to show topics by that account, by the author of the topic. So we can use a dynamic field again here for current user ID. So the query is saying, find me all topics that are published with the current user ID, i.e. the author ID. Okay, so let's add that query. Back to my account, give that a refresh so that we can see the new query in the drop down, and back to our custom query, and yes, we would like to, and there's our user topics. Now that will show mine because I'm the person that's logged into the admin editing the page. But if we update that, go to the front end and refresh. There we go. There's Sam's topics. Click through and job done. I do believe that is all of the major components now sorted for our forum. So it's about time we tidied this all up and brought this all together with a few extra special bits and pieces. So on our site currently, if I am logged in, which I am as Sam, we'll see things that perhaps we shouldn't see when we're logged in, like the login link and the register link. Now, we could add some code snippets that hide and show stuff in the menu based on the login state of the user. But we're going to do a little cheeky CSS hack here for simplicity. And let's get back to the admin. We're going to close up a few of these guys. We can go to dashboard and Elementor custom code. Now you could add your CSS to your child theme, a custom plugin, or another CSS plugin, but I'm just going to use Elementor's built-in custom code function for simplicity. So we'll have this called custom CSS, and we'll open up a style bracket, close it up again, and then we have our custom CSS ready. Now, if we go to our appearance menus, and we're going to open up screen options, and we're going to say show the CSS class on the menu items, and when we open one up, you see now we've got a class. Now we're going to add a class here called hide logged in. Not on that one, actually. Take that off. We want it on login, hide logged in, and register, hide logged in. Let's save that. And we're going to combine that CSS class with the CSS class that is applied to a page. If we inspect the page, let's just hit anywhere and hit inspect. If we scroll right up to the body classes, you will see in here that we do indeed have a class called logged in. See that there? So if we combine logged in with hide on logged in, then we can show and hide stuff using CSS. Let's get back to our new code. So if we add a class, a declaration called logged in, and then add our hide logged in class, and then we just do a display none, and we'll just add an important just to be absolutely sure we're going to override this. And we'll put that in the head. So we're saying to the web page, if we're logged in, hide any element with the class of hide logged in. You get me? And we'll save and close that with condition across the entire site. So let's have a look, see if that worked. Did we save our menu? Yes, we have saved our menu. Okay, cool. Let's refresh that. Don't need that anymore. And look, they're gone. Now, what about if we log out? We'll see some other stuff that you shouldn't see when you're logged out, like my account, and maybe we want to hide the links to the forums. So let's do the same thing in a kind of reverse-ish order, and let's use the different class of hide logged out. So we get back to our menus, and what we don't want to show that we don't want to show any of the forums. So let's put hide logged out, and my account hide logged out, and we'll save that, and we'll go back to our custom CSS, and we'll add that first of all as an overriding display none declaration. We'll give that an important as well, just to be belt and braces about the whole thing. And so anything with hide logged out class will be not shown. Blanket across the board. Let's just have a look at that when we refresh our page. And now we've only got login and register. But we do want to see them when we're logged in. So if we log in again, they're gone. All the stuff is gone because it's blanket. So what we need to do is we need to combine logged in and hide logged out to display something else. So let's just copy that, and we'll display that as a block this time, but only when it's preceded by the body class of logged in. Update that. And so when we go back in and we're logged in, now we can see our links come back. There we go. You'll also notice that the logout link is actually dynamic to that too, because the code that I actually put in that snippet originally. Let's just have a look at that. If you look at the logout link, see, I put in that class there. So that does exactly the same thing. So you don't get the logout link when you're not logged in. Okay, hope that was clear enough. Next thing we need to do is get some redirections sorted out, because we want to protect some of the pages from logged out users. Primarily the main homepage. I know it sounds silly, but trust me, the forums and the topic pages, and of course the My Account page. So let's get in the always mighty redirection plugin. Pretty much on every build I think I've ever done with WordPress, pretty much. Let's activate that, and you'll just need to run through, and it's on tools, redirection. We just need to run through the setup, and we'll just keep everything as default. See, it's running through the checks there, finish setup, and we continue to our redirects. Now the redirects we want are, the first one will be the home page. So it's that, and we're going to open up the extended options here. So it's URL and login status, and if they are logged out, we want them to go to the login page. So if we just log out here and we grab that URL and we whack it in the logged out, if they're logged in, they'll just go straight to it. It doesn't affect it. So we'll add that redirection. We also want to protect the topics, and we need to call a wildcard source URL for this, and that will require us using regex. And for this, we want to use this configuration. You see, we've got the wildcard there. We're also putting in this little up arrow here, which basically is what redirection tells you to do, essentially, when you're doing wildcards on regex. And that will, so this is for, again, login status. So if we're logged out, again, we want to go to the login page. Let's copy that URL again. So topics or anything underneath topics will get redirected to the login page if you're logged out. And the last one we're going to do for now is the my account URL. Just a simple one this time, but again, match with logged in status. And if you are logged out, we want to send you to the login page. And this is not a regex. So we take that off, and then we do not get any prompts there, and that's all good. So we'll have those for now. There's probably a couple more we could do, but you kind of get the idea, so that you can really protect your pages from non-logged in users. So if we go to my account now, we're logged out, we come back to the login. I think you get the gist. All right, next up, we are going to add a cheeky filter to our forum single pages to allow us to filter those topics to find what we're looking for. And we are going to go to our Crocoblock dashboard, and then we'll go to Crocoblock update and installation. And we get the huge amount of plugins on offer. And what we need is JetSmartFilters. So click that to install, and let's activate it. And then we'll see we've got smart filters over here. So let's add a new filter, and we'll call this topic search. And it will be a search type, and it will be a label that, and we'll just copy that into there as well, which we won't actually need. But anyway, so we'll update that. And now we'll go to our templates, show them all. Forum single, let's get that in another tab. So let's go and hunt down our filters, and we want a search filter. I'm just going to pop that straight in there, and we'll choose our topic search. We'll tell it that the filter is for JetEngine, which is our list here. Change the type to Ajax on typing, and we lose the button there. And we'll update that. Let's get back over to our front end. We will need to log Sam back in. Let's get over to our general discussion. And now we've got our filter here. So if we start typing, we see we've got a great little filter, the same on advanced topics, etc., etc. Pretty funky stuff. Okay, last up in our pull this together section, we are going to put in some functionality that will require the user to validate their email address in their email before they are allowed to log in. Good stuff when you want to protect your website from robots and all that jazz. Okay, let's get stuck in. We're going to go back to our admin. Let's close a few things up to make things a little tidier. Right, let's go and get this plugin installed. We'll go to plugins and add a new one, and this is called verification. And this is our little fella that we want. Super simple, does what it says on the tin. Let's activate that. And we're going to need a new page here for the verification page when they get asked to click the link that they'll be sent. And we'll just drop our title in there. Publish that. We'll go back to our dashboard. And our settings for the plugin, which are actually fall under users. There we are, user verification. So here we go. Email verification, yes. Choose verification page. That'll be verification. And we'll after they've been verified, we'll redirect to their account page. Because they'll automatically be logged in, which is cool. And the rest of that is okay. We'll just change one of the email templates, because I didn't notice on this it's a bit of a weird subject. It should be please activate your account. Okay, let's save that. Now we've got to go over to JetForm and tweak the register form, because that now needs to, we just need to change the register user to not auto log them in. We'll update that and we'll disable the redirection and just add a little bit more info on the success message. For now, you could add a info page to redirect to say, you know, check your email, whatever. But let's just, for now, let's just have check your email for activation link, and let's update that. So I do believe that should do it. Let's go register someone new. Let's see if all this comes together. Let's have Sally registering. Rock solid password. We'll sort those out in a bit. Thanks for registering. Check your email for activation link. Right. Let's go over to our email log. Open that in a new tab. See if Sally's got her email sent. Yes, please activate your account. Let's have a look at that. There's our activation key. Copy that link. Let's get back to our front end. Checking validation, verification. Thanks for verifying. Boom! And Sally is logged in and is ready to start posting all that juicy topic queries and questions on this wonderful Crocoblock forum. Well, check that out. We just built a little web forum, though I would point out one thing. The email verification part, that's actually now covered by JetForm Builder. Since JetForm Builder 3.2, it has its own email verification post-submit action, which is awesome. The link is in the description to that video, show you how to use that. But essentially, it's perfect because it means you can put other post-submit actions after the verification, and they don't happen until the email gets verified. Brilliant stuff. Anyhow, please make sure you subscribe for more great videos here on the Crocoblock channel.